It's good evening, sir.
Hi, Saurabh. Good evening.
So let's begin with the podcast.
Sure.
So the first question, when did you learn how to play chess and who taught you how to play?
Okay, to be very frank, I actually don't remember how I started playing chess and when. But the first memory which I have about chess is when I started playing professional chess. It used to be like I used to play in my building with my friends, and there used to be this two brothers named Amit and Bunty. Okay, the elder one was named as Amit, and the younger one was Bunty. So I used to play with them. And interestingly, I used to almost every time lose to Bunty, who was the younger one, but I used to win against Amit on and off. And Amit used to beat Bunty quite convincingly. So that's where I used to think, why am I losing to this younger one always? And so I decided to join a chess club so that I can decode his tricks and strategies. And that's how it began, the professional chess journey.
Okay, that's very interesting, sir.
Thank you.
So, what are some of the most memorable moments from your chess tournaments you played?
Yeah, obviously the best memory that I have is representing India at the Commonwealth Chess Championship 2018. So it was 3 years ago. The tournament was held at New Delhi, and I think when you wear that Indian jersey, it is a totally different feeling. So
Yes,
yeah, I have won many prizes. I have even become the champion of a few tournaments. I've been playing chess for 20 years now. A lot of sweet memories, but no memory can match that feeling. I think it's just amazing when you feel the aura, the people from different countries playing. So it was just amazing. That is one of the best memories. And yeah, once I remember I was going through a rough patch. I was winning a lot of prizes. I used to come second, third, fourth. I used to win good prizes, but it had been a long time that I had won a trophy. Okay, like I had come first, joined first, and I got cash prize. But in most of the tournament, it used to be like they used to provide us with cash prizes. So I always had this urge to win a trophy. So again, this also happened, I think, 2, 3 years ago when, to be very frank, I had a night out with my friends and I slept at something like 4 p.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, and 7 o'clock I had to wake up. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'll just go and play if I wake up. So I woke up at 7 o'clock. I went for the tournament, one day rapid. And surprisingly, I scored 8 out of 9. I lost one game and I came first and I got the first big trophy of my life. So
wow.
again, that was a very interesting memory which I had. So yeah, there are many such memories, but these two are class like they are most special.
Yes, they are really amazing, sir. Uh, so, sir, how do you stay motivated?
Uh, I okay now I would like to explain this in detail as I've been teaching a lot of kids and a lot of parents keep on complaining that the kids get demotivated after they suffer a lot of losses or some painful losses, or let's say they are playing many games and they're not even to win a single game, they get demotivated. But I don't know. In our times, I had never heard the term demotivation when I was young, and I used to love the game so much. And even if I used to lose a game, I would want to beat that opponent the very next game. So I would challenge him for the next game. Again, I used to lose. Again, I used to challenge. Again, I used to lose.
Yes,
So the moment I used to go home, I used to try to understand what is he doing different, which I am unable to understand. So I don't think if you like something very much from the bottom of your heart, you need motivation to do that. Okay, so it just comes very naturally. You don't need to be motivated. Okay, there are times when you feel like, okay, what are you doing? And when you lose very badly, you feel like, what are you doing? And you should stop it. But again, as I said, if you like it thoroughly, after a day, I actually don't remember even a single day where I've not played chess until I at least play one bullet or blades game every day. So yeah, I motivation is not required; it just comes naturally.
sir. Positive attitude towards anything really helps us.
Yeah. That's what means. You would be having some passion, some liking, and I don't think
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need to push ourselves to do that. It just comes naturally.
Yes, sir. So, what is your thought process which you go through before making a move?
Okay. that can have many answers. It totally depends on the scenario, like what tournament you're playing, who is your opponent, what is the position, what is the situation. Like, are you in a must-win situation? Are you like there is no pressure at all? So, for example, I would like to share one experience where, let's say, I was playing this tournament before pre-COVID, I think 2019 again, where it was under 1800 federated player. So I was one of the top six, and I was having a awesome tournament, one of the best tournaments of my life, where I scored 7-on-7. Okay, and there were 9 rounds. So eighth round I was again pushing for a win, but I could just get a draw. So I was 7.5 out of 8, and there were many people who were following me on 7 points. So in the last round, I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate. I would say, as you said, positive attitude makes a big difference. So I would say, fortunately, I got to play with a player whose rapid rating was less, but his classical rating is a 2300 player. So because I was in 7.5, I was playing as that opponent. So in that scenario, I was feeling a lot of pressure because I am playing for the championship. I'm leading by half point. So even if I get a draw, I might become the champion because I have a good tiebreaker. Okay. And if I win, obviously I'll become the champion. So I was trying for a win, but because I put a lot of pressure on myself, I consumed a lot of time. And as it being the rapid format, I simply landed in time pressure. The position was still equal. I managed to equalize the position, but because of time pressure, I blundered and lost. So it felt terrible at that time. And this has happened a lot of time whenever I've taken pressure on myself. But I think the important thing is you should just play the game naturally. You should not take any pressure. And yeah, it totally depends on what is the situation, what is the scenario. But I think if you take one game at a time and don't give so much importance to winning and prizes, especially the championship match, I think you'll perform better. Something like what MS Dhoni does. Yeah.
Okay, so performing without pressure is always better.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, I'm not those one of those guys who would perform, who would excel in under performance pressure. But if there is no pressure, if it's like they had this dialogue in Three Idiots, अपने दिमाग को दिल को उल्लू बनाओ. So I think one of my friends also told me, his name is Sagar Shah, is the founder of ChessBase India, very well known person in chess community.
Yes.
Yeah. So he told me that when you're playing such last crucial rounds where you put yourself under unnecessary pressure, what is his suggestion is just play as if this is the first round of a new tournament. I think basically the first round of the new tournament, there is no pressure at all. You're just going, okay, I'm going to win. You don't know your opponent. Just play very naturally without any pressure at all. So this advice has helped me a lot. Whenever I remember that advice when playing the last crucial round, it has definitely helped me. So I think you need to fool your mind. That's it.
Yes, sir. So, sir, who inspired you in chess?
Again, I don't have an idol as such, but definitely, if you'll look into Indian chess community, it's none other than Viswanathan Anand. So he has been the 5 times world champion, and that also in 3 different formats, which is very interesting. No other world champion has achieved that feat, being the world champion in 3 different formats. So yeah, definitely is the motivation for, I'm very sure, for everyone in India.
Yes.
But apart from that, as I said, as I earlier mentioned, I just like to push myself, challenge myself. So whenever I lose a game, that is what keeps me going. So no idol as such, but chess itself has taught me so much, and there's so much to learn. I just keep playing.
Yes, sir, that's great, sir. So, sir, do you like playing chess online? Is it different from playing on the board offline?
Yeah, it's far more different. I think when I was young, there were few online games like CS and everything. So kids used to play those. But I remember playing just chess and road rash and DX ball once or twice. So on the point I'm trying to make here is online chess is totally different. So let's say if you're playing blitz or bullet, for example, especially bullet, okay, or even blitz, you need to have good hand and eye coordination. So the mouse. So recently I asked one of my students who are just 9 years old. I asked them, like, which mouse do you use, how can you make the move so quickly. So I prefer playing on touchpad. But what happens on touchpad is sometimes when you're making the move in time pressure, your hand comes in between and you can't see the entire board. So they suggested me that you should have a high DPI mouse and all. So this is not my cup of tea. I would prefer playing on a chessboard where I can just quickly make the moves with my hand instead of making it with the mouse or on a touchpad. So yeah, it's definitely different, the online and the offline part. I think one more important thing is offline has its own perks. For example, let's say if we are playing online, most of the time we don't see our opponent, we don't know who he is. Okay, we just play against the pieces, white or black. Okay, even if we don't know the name, that feeling is not there, that aura that somebody is present in front of you. So that's the biggest difference. So when I'm playing with somebody and if I know that player, so we have those stares where we look at each other, we stare at each other. These are like, you can say, I would say this as a polite way of, it's like a cold war where you just stare at each other. When you make a move, okay, look, I have made this good move. Now, how are you going to answer that? So those all feelings are totally different, which I don't find in online chess.
Okay. Yes. So definitely playing offline is much way more fun also.
Yeah. It's definitely better.
Yes, sir. So there was any particular reason why did you choose chess as a career?
Mm, Again, I would say that, as I already mentioned in the panel discussion, there are a lot of things which chess has taught me over the period of time. When I was young, I used to be very short-tempered. कोई कुछ बोलता था मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आता था. Okay, so chess has taught me that you need to be patient. You need to control your emotions. You need to channelize your energy. Okay, because if you don't channel and if you let it burst out, it will be futile. So chess has taught me that big time. Okay, you need to be very patient. You need to wait for the right moment. Okay, and as I mentioned already, the objectivity. Chess teaches you objectivity. Like you can't just, so as we all know, as I already said, everyone wants to checkmate the opponent king. But let's see, if you don't have enough pieces over the king side and your strength lies on the queen side, you should try to play on the queen side, maybe promote a pawn into a queen, and then try to checkmate instead of just going for the kill. So that is very important point. It teaches you to be objective, very practical, and not being emotional. And the richness and newness, what has actually intrigued me to the game until now. Every time I play chess, I learn something new. I'm very sure about that. Especially when I lose a game, that's where I learn more. Because when I lose, obviously I don't know that pattern, I don't know that move. So I learn from it, and that is what keeps me, pushes me to keep learning chess.
Yes, sir. That's amazing, sir. What do you think are some of the false assumptions that people make about chess?
The most important thing, chess is boring. Okay, that is the biggest misunderstanding people have. For people who don't know chess, they would be thinking, okay, what are these two guys doing? They're just staring at the board and holding their head with their both hands and making a move after, let's say, 15, 20 minutes or so. They
Yes,
think, what
sir.
are these guys doing? Okay, but again, if you know how to play chess and if you can see that move, okay, and if an amazing move has been made on the board, and if you understand the thought process behind that move, okay, if I have played this queen move, where to a layman it would seem that it's a queen blunder. But if you dwell in further, if you look at for something like 5, 6 more moves ahead, you'll understand that it's not a queen blunder, it's a queen sacrifice, where the queen has been given just to checkmate the opponent king. So I think this is the biggest misunderstanding about chess, that chess is boring. Because as they say in chess, after just 4 moves, there are as many possibilities as many stars in the skies. So chess is so rich and it's very interesting to play that. So apart from that, yeah, chess is not viewer friendly, they say. But again, as I said, there needs to be some things changed which will make it more interesting. As right now, a lot of things are happening online. Okay, they're having many online tournaments. Even the comedians have taken chess, the stand-up comedians. So that has definitely
Samir
boosted
Rana is
chess.
one of them.
Yeah, Samiran is the spearhead of the chess,
Yes,
chess for the comedians.
yes,
So yeah, something like this. So the biggest assumption, misunderstanding about chess is boring, which is not at all true, I think.
okay, sir. Sir, can you recall a specific turning point in your any of the chess game?
Yeah, there are many such turning points where I have been hopelessly lost. But I have a motto for my academy, which I also like to follow. Maybe you would have heard it as well. It's a very well-known motto. It's not over until it's over. So it applies in both the scenarios. So let's say if you're winning, don't start celebrating too soon. That, okay, I'm winning, yeah, I'm winning, and I'm gonna win now. It's over. You never know, somewhere for something, one of the pieces would check your king, and you would land in a checkmating trap. Yeah, and the same motto will go for losing as well. So I myself have landed into so many poor positions where I'm hopelessly lost on time as well as in position. But again, it's not over until it's over. And so you should keep trying. And I think I've won many such games where I've not given up and managed to win. So yeah, I think that's the best thing which I can share. The single motto which can be used in either scenarios.
Okay, okay. That's great, sir. So, sir, if any of your students would like to pursue chess in a serious manner, what would you advise him or her?
So when I'll tell you my story of how it happened. So I completed my engineering somewhere at the age of 24, I guess, and I wanted to pursue chess as a career. So obviously my parents were against it. So I met my friend Sagar, and I told him so and so is the case. I want to pursue chess, but my parents are against it, and how would I make money through it? I'm already 24. So he's like, are you sure you definitely want to pursue chess? Because it's not easy to pursue sports, especially in India, and especially in chess, which is not getting that much recognition. I'm talking about the year 2014, when chess was not that much popular in India. So I was like, okay, yes, I want to do it. So he just told me one thing. He just asked me one simple question. He's like, okay, let's talk about 10 years from now. Let's say you're practicing chess 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe 8 hours a day, okay? And you're putting your heart and soul in everything. And in spite of working sincerely in a disciplined manner and everything at the perfectly, okay, everything is perfect. Let's say after 10 years, you're still stagnant at the strength where you were 10 years ago. Yeah. Would you still like to play chess? And I was taken aback. I was like, how would that happen if I'm practicing for 10 years? Okay, day in, day night. Why would I still stay at that level? So he was like, this is the worst situation I'm giving you. Let's say after 10 years, instead of putting your heart and soul, you're stuck at that very same level. Would you still like to play chess? He gave me an entire night. We met in the evening. So he told me, you think about it and let me know the answer tomorrow morning. So that night, I remember I couldn't sleep. I was like, why would that happen to me? But his thing was, yeah, if it happens, what do you still like to play chess? So I was like, okay, I need to think. So after thinking for internet, the next morning when I met him, I was like, okay, yes, even if I'm stagnant at the very same strength, I would like to play chess. So then he told me, you know your answer. You know that you want to continue chess. So I would ask the same question to my students. Okay. So let's say even after putting your everything, if let's say after 10 or 20 years, you don't improve at chess, would you still like to play it? If the answer is yes, that is where your passion lies. That is where your liking lies. You don't expect anything in return. Obviously, you work towards it. If you improve, it's a cherry on the cake. But if you don't, and if you still want to pursue it, that's the big point I think would make a big difference. So that is going to be my question to my students.
Okay, sir. Thanks. That was very inspiring, sir.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Yes, so that's all for the podcast, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Saurabh, for having me.
Yes. Sir, you can leave the breakout room and join the main meeting.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.